Hello everyone, and welcome to Jumperman Tech, where we specialize in HVAC, we do everything DIY, and we have a follow-up service call for this small refrigeration rack system. Thank you to everyone tuning in to Jumperman Tech. In my previous call, we came here in the middle of the night. This rack system controls every single refrigeration equipment inside of the building, and everything went down and it was a disaster. I found that on one of the compressor contactors, it's a three-phase system, 208 volts. Line 1 touched with line 3 and blew a bunch of breakers. Strangely enough, we have a breaker panel here. It tripped all that. After I repaired the broken wires and changed the contactor, I reset everything and we had no incoming power. I found that the main breaker inside of the building also tripped, but it wouldn't reset. I figured it was a faulty breaker. Electrician came in that following morning, changed the breaker, and when they flipped the switch, everything worked. We are now here for a quick update. Also, this is a second follow-up. Previous to this, I changed this temperature controller here, which cycles the condenser fan motor. Only one of two, kind of a strange setup, but it is what it is. I replaced the other contactor, and I installed a universal transformer with a breaker for a little more protection. We noticed that the fan motor here, condenser fan motor, was making a lot of noise, and I recommended that they replace that. Today's video, we're going to be replacing the fan motors, but I got no information on these units, so what we're going to do is pull out one of the motors. You can see only one of them are running right now, because the way this works is since this works in the winter time, this controller right here that's reading outdoor temperature cycles one of the fans on and off. So the one that's off, because it's cold outside, we're going to pull that one out and match it up at the shop, come back and actually replace both. Let's turn off these breakers. Compressor, fans, control panel, and main power. Another thing that we did was we cleaned this coil. It was completely packed with dirt before. It was seriously bad. One thing that's really bothering me right now is the access to the fan motor connections and capacitors. They're here. Look at this. How you gonna troubleshoot that? You can't even get in there. You can't even get your face in there. There's a little cover I could take off on the other side. Well, once again, there's like no space against that wall. I gotta climb over the unit. Gotta climb and then hop over. There's almost no space here. I can feel like one leg over there. All right, let's climb over and make our way there. Once again, I got my lovely new socket set. Full set. All right. Get that. Real pain over here. Seriously. Take this off and this guy. Let's pull out this fan guard. So nice to have a socket set. Pull that out. Got 4 of these. Now you can take that, put that to the side safely. And for the electrical connections, we gotta get in here. So I was here last time and I think it's a pain. I'm gonna recommend they put a waterproof box and relocate that on that side wall so people can actually get to it. It's horrible. Seriously horrible. Gotta push this thing back and kind of bend this. Connection is in here. Really crazy. I can't even see what's really in there. This thing is just weird. That's fine. I can barely see anything. But this cable, it's the bottom one, number 2. Let's disconnect the wires. We got 2 brown wires for the capacitor. Okay. Let's see what else is connected here. 2 brown wires. We have this thing is sharing power. It's a strange setup. I remember this. Let's just disconnect the wires here. Once set up, the blue goes to white. What I would do is, where's my snips? I'd cut that here, so I know where that goes. Then we have a black. Right, that was it. And then we have a black wire. It's 208 volt single phase motor. I really hate how they did this. First off, the ground wire not being used for any motor. Also, there's only 3 wires coming here. Each of them have 120 volts coming in. I checked this before. It really drove me nuts. So they're sharing 120. Both of them are sharing the same side of 120. And then there's 2 separate wires with 120 in each leg to it. It's kind of a weird setup. But right here, this black wire is one side of 208. It feeds the first motor and the second motor. So I'm gonna have to cut the black here on the other motor and connect it to the black wire coming in to get it to go. And I gotta write this down and remember how they did this, because they have a strange setup here and I really don't like it. Got this thing pulled out. It's probably a dual voltage motor because I got some wires going together. Let me strip this back. That's gonna need to go with this black wire so we can get that motor running. They have that cycling control. Usually that works off pressure. They got it working off temperature, and they only shut off 1 fan. Guess that's how they got it working. It is what it is. So let's wire nut that up. Let's pull that motor out. As far as this motor, sits on this metal bracket. Ugh, I can barely get through here. I'm gonna get stuck, man. Jesus. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it in the video. So I'm gonna show you guys here. Got 2 nuts and bolts right there. You loosen that up, and you can slide the motor right out. I loosened it up. See it? Yep. Okay. It's gonna come right out. Grab that. Hold up, we gotta get the wire out. All right, you got it?
Yeah.
All right. And we're out. Can't even work here, man. Gotta love that shiny new socket set. Really came in handy right now. All right, turn the breaker on for the fans. You hear that noise? Not a fan of that. We're gonna leave that one off. We're gonna let it be. Let's turn this unit back on. This control right here is set that when it drops below a certain temperature for the winter time, it shuts down the fan we pulled out. So technically, since we're below that temperature, the system's not gonna run with that other fan anyways. So we got some time to replace it. I'm gonna match it up at the shop. We matched up the old motor, and we got 2 new ones with 2 new capacitors. That's a beautiful thing. Here's the control we changed here. Those are the matching contactors I told you guys about. And there's that transformer with the built-in breaker. Very interesting. We're gonna pull out the old blade. We're going to reuse the blades from this motor and put it on the new one. Set that up before I shut this machine down. It is currently operating. I got some WD-40 if needed, also sandpaper and a puller. This one might be a little bit better because we got this little cap here that kind of prevents it from rusting. So let's see if we can get this off. That's pretty clean. Got an Allen key here. Let's loosen that and this should slide off. That shaft looks pretty good, but usually when there's anything showing, I would sand it down, make sure it's a nice smooth surface, hit it with some WD or something like that, and then pull it off. You might be able to get smack it off with like a flathead and a hammer, or the proper way is to use a puller. There's nowhere really to sand this down. So let's get some WD-40 in there. And let's loosen this guy up. I think it's tight. Real tight.
2,000 years later.
Alright, I was able to loosen that up. That was not easy. I believe the WD helped. Oh, look at that. That is a beautiful thing. This thing's coming off like butter. And that's because it had a little protective cap and it's all rusty. Good luck. Whew, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. I'm gonna sand the shaft down a bit just because. Get it in there smooth and so it can really go in there properly. Alright, we got the same frame and everything. The specs on this are identical. The only thing is the shaft is different. This looks a little higher because it's on this little lip here. And also there's like electrical sticking out. But this, I can measure the difference from that, but this blade is going to be on further. I might actually drop the motor in and then adjust the blade while it's in the motor bracket just to balance it out. I'm gonna take a picture of this for you guys, but what's going on here is that we got two brown wires. I see a lot of them are very similar. Usually the brown wires already come with solderless spade connectors. These two are for your capacitor. As far as this motor, it's 208 volt motor. White and black is gonna be your power wires. And these two is going to be for your direction. So here's this is a much clearer diagram than what's on the motor actually. But it says that for counterclockwise, yellow goes to yellow and orange goes to orange. If you want to reverse the rotation, you put one wire on each. So a yellow to orange, and then another yellow to orange. So you split these up. All right, shutting everything down. Let's get over here. Take off these screws here. Let's pull out this other motor. Let's set all this up. And let's get them back up and running as fast as we can. Taking a picture so you guys can see, so we can match up this blade so it goes in the same spot. Do have a bit of a better angle working from here, but then again it's still really tight, and where I need to be, this is in there. But you want to get a socket in here. You want to hold back with an adjustable in the back. But I was actually able to loosen it without holding back, luckily. Let's see if I could do the same for here. Yeah, I could barely work in here. This one didn't have that cover. I gotta pull this out. I'm gonna hit it with WD-40 from the front and back. And the screw. Let's try to pull that blade out so I get a little bit more space. Let's give it a few minutes and see what happens. Let's hope this is easier. There we go. Let's hope this thing pulls out now. Let's loosen it up a little more. Oh, came right off. That's good. Let's wipe this one down.
Gotcha.
Should free up a lot more space in here now. So hopefully. Oh yeah. That's gonna be a whole lot better. There we go. I gotta take this crazy thing off again. I don't know if the new motor, the wires, I don't think those leads are gonna reach. I wanna get them going for today, but I also gonna recommend for them to move that box over there so you can get to it easily and redo the electrical, put everything like in waterproof box, and protect the wires. But right now we need to focus on just getting them going. Yep, it's always something like this. All right, let's just separate that. Or wait a minute, before I separate that, what did they do here? Oh, there's like a harness in here. I might actually reuse that. I might cut the wires there. As far as this, I think it's better I reuse this. Cut this just in case they want to use this as some sort of spare. But personally, I think it's better if I just reuse this. Now we can pull this out. So cool. All right, that's in there. Let's make sure this thing is gonna be safe. And we can just tighten this down and we are mounted. It's like I gotta do this in a strange way. I gotta hold it like this. Just make sure that's in there. And tighten with this hand. Whatever. Let's just tighten this thing up. What a pain. All right, I quickly wired it. Just want to check that shaft. All right, you can see it's going towards the right. And the rotation is this way. Cool. Let me neaten this up. All right, that's what it's looking like right now. But the wire is nice and safe across there so the blade won't hit it. I would like that in an enclosure, but right now we just gotta get them going. I got the next one in, bolted in, and I was able to make these connections. Should go through that box up top, you guys can see. And the capacitor and everything's wired in here. As far as this blade and this motor, this shaft is rounded, but there's a flat edge. That flat edge, you want to tighten down your locking screw on there. So you're going to line that up accordingly. This is going to have to be pushed in a bit more. And it was something like this. We're just going to tighten it down with the Allen key and we're done here. All right. Want that nice and snug in there. We don't want that coming apart. There we go. Oh wow, it's crazy how it looks in the video. You can turn it off here. We can see it's actually going towards the right. Okay. You can see the rotation there is good. So turn that on. That one is currently off. It cycles off this controller. All right, hit it, Chris. All right, it's on. As far as now, we can just put these covers back on and we're done. All right, we are up and running. Panels back up and closed. Both compressors are running. Close this panel. That was a beautiful thing right there. As far as their electrical, I would totally move that piece somewhere on this wall so it's easy to get to, easy to check for power and all that. Change the capacitors if needed, and fix up the wiring in the back a little bit and make sure all the electrical connections are in some sort of enclosure. I'm gonna wrap this one up here. If anyone found this video interesting or helpful, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe as I come out with new videos every week. And I'll catch you all next time.